Welcome to Arpeggio Yoga. My name is Will, and this is episode 21. Haven't I been here before? Let's start by taking up an easy seated position. Sit evenly on your sits bones. You can cross at the ankles, or you could place one heel in front of the other, or stack your legs like fire logs, whatever's most comfortable in this easy seated position for you. You're going to rise up through the spine. Picture a string lifting through the crown of your head to keep that spine nice and straight. Resting your palms on your knees, on your thighs, in your lap, facing up, facing down, whatever is most comfortable for you. And go ahead and rest your eyelids or close your eyes completely. And just start focusing inward to your breath. Nice deep inhalations through your nose, followed by an equal length exhalation, also through your nose. Start letting your mind go inward, ignoring those sounds and thoughts that may be trying to bust their way in. You can count the length of your inhalation, whether it's 1, 3, 7, 5, whatever the number is. Try to make your exhalation that same length. You may be wondering why I entitled this session episode 21. It's obviously not the 21st episode, it's the first. But as I told you in my introduction video, I wanted to remove any apprehension, any obstacles that may be in the way of you practicing. Continue to breathe here. When I got my first checkbook, my mother gave me the advice of starting the check numbers at number 501. Back in the day when we used checkbooks quite often, when you'd write a check at a store, they would check your driver's license to make sure the address matched what was written on the check. But they may also look at the check number, and if you're writing check number 1, they may be a little apprehensive of trusting that you're creditworthy and that there's actually money behind that check to pay your bill. So we started with check 501 to make it look like this 18-year-old was experienced in writing 500 checks prior to. So I didn't make this episode 501, just episode 21. It is January 1st, 2021 when you're seeing this video released. And maybe you're new to yoga, you're at least new to practicing with me. And so any apprehension that may be there, I just want to relieve you of that. Anyone who made it through 2020 deserves to skip ahead to 21, I think, and make this a great year. This is my first time teaching in this format. While I've certainly recorded enough videos that didn't make it to the light of day to be published, I think I deserve to be on number 21 as well. So we'll go from there. Continue taking those deep breaths in. And long exhalations. Let's do 2 more on your own. Again, shutting off all sounds and distractions from the outside. You're here now. This may be day 1 for you, but I promise it'll be easy. We'll be off to a good start for the year. Good start for your practice. Good start in yoga in general. All be good. All right, go ahead and open your eyes. And if your legs are crossed in one direction, go ahead and cross them the other. Or if you have your left foot's behind, go ahead and put your left foot in front now. And all things we do in yoga, let's try to keep them balanced. All right, on your next inhalation, let's lift our arms up over our head. And on the exhale, lean to the left. You can extend your left arm out, bend the elbow, start to bend the middle of your back. The gaze can go up to your elbow, to your palm. Inhale up, exhale to the right. Don't forget to breathe. Just breathe naturally. And on your next inhalation, back up. And on the exhale, we're going to twist gently to the left. Right hand on your left knee. You can tense your left fingertips behind you. Continuing to breathe. Continuing to keep that spine upright. And just gently twisting. Don't take it too far to the point of pain. On your next inhalation, rise back up. And exhale, twist to the right. Next inhalation, up again. And exhale, bring your hands back behind you. And you can either tent the fingertips behind, or interlace your fingers and reach your knuckles down toward the ground behind you, lifting your chest, rolling your shoulders back. And lastly, lifting your chin slightly to the air, looking skyward. And if you're not in your in-laws' backyard in Phoenix, you won't be staring at the sun right now. So if you're in that same situation, you can close your eyes as needed. Good. Inhale, arms back up. And exhale, bend forward.
Just gently feel it in your low back. If this is too much, don't take it too far. If you need a little bit more, you can walk your fingertips forward.
And then back up to your easy seat. Let's do a little bit of neck rotation. On an inhale, let's drop your right ear to your right shoulder. And then exhale through center. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale through center. Right ear to right shoulder. Exhale through center, connecting your breath and your movement. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale through center. One more on each side at your own pace. Connecting that breath and movement, which is really what yoga is all about. The physical postures and the breathing. Finally exhale back through center, and then gently rise your head back up. Go ahead now and extend your arms out in front of you. Do a little bit of a wrist warm up. Interlace your fingers. Rotate clockwise. Great. Release your fingers and flip them opposite. So whichever thumb was on top before, alternate that. And now let's rotate them counterclockwise. Throughout our yoga practices, we'll end up doing a lot of planks, a lot of downward facing dog. There'll be a lot of pressure on your wrists. So you want them good and warmed up. At least you do when you're in your late 40s like me. If I go right into it without warming up the wrists, I find I can experience a little bit of pain from that. Go ahead and shake that out. Great. Now we're going to flip to our side and come to hands and knees. Keeping your toes tucked, let's sit back on our heels. Get that stretch through the backs of our feet, a little bit through the ankle, calves. Awesome. And just sit upright through the spine as you were before. Let's come back to all fours. And taking one foot at a time back, let's just rock back and forth. A little bit longer in the stretch in our calf each time. This is preparing us for our first downward facing dog. And let's hold the last one for a couple of breaths. Good. Bring that knee back alongside the left. Take the left foot back in the same motion. Just rock back and forth. And hold the last one. Excellent. Bring that knee back up along your left. It's a little bit more stretching through the wrists. You can rock forward and back here. Just get a little more warmth in those wrist bones. Stretching the tendons of the inner wrist. Go in circles gently. One direction, then the other. Super. You can point your fingers to the outside of your mat. Rocking side to side, back in circles again. Change the direction. And then if it's available to you, you can turn your fingers all the way back toward your knees. Leaning forward and bending your elbows and straightening them. Really feel that stretch in the inner wrist. No pain. You might have a little bit of a challenge, and that's good. You're awakening muscles that haven't been used before. Warming up muscles that need to be warmed up. But you don't want to feel any pain. Go ahead and sit back and shake those wrists out again. Now coming back to all fours, your wrists beneath your shoulders, your knees are hips width apart. You can untuck your toes now. We'll go through a series of cat-cow poses. So on an inhale, we're going to tilt our pelvis forward, lower the belly. Last thing that comes up is the head. You gaze forward into cow. And on an exhale, we'll tilt the pelvis back, dip the tailbone, bring the navel to the spine, arch that back up like a scared cat. Last thing that goes down is your head. Inhale, wave through the spine from base to top into cow. Exhale, back to cat. Let's do two more on your own. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more. Excellent. Now back to a tabletop position, flat back. Step your left foot back and your right foot back. This is our plank position, upward plank, high plank. And now we're going to lift our hips up and back to our first downward facing dog. I'll take a couple of breaths here. Forward to plank and lower your knees down again. Untuck the toes. And this is another basic position that you can come back to at any point called child's pose. Just leaning back, setting your butt above your ankles. Just resting the forehead on the ground, arms extended out or to your side. You can come back here at any point. If you'd like to move your knees a little bit further apart, if it's more comfortable to rest your torso between the knees, that's certainly available to you as well. Modify as you need. You can walk your fingers to the right while we're here. Just get a little bit more stretch to the left side body. That left hand out a little bit further in front than your right. Walk it back center. Take your right out in front of your left. Back center. And then let's come back up. Hips back to a downward facing dog. Take a breath here before we walk our feet back to the top of our mat. And bring your hands to your shins or to your knees, making your back flat, parallel to the ground, flat back. And exhale, go ahead and just hang. Let your body hang like a rag doll. Drag your knuckles across, or your fingertips across the ground, or grab opposite elbows. Just let your head hang. Let gravity do the work here. A little sway between the hips. Feel that through your hamstrings. If you do no other yoga each day but this, just hang in a forward fold for several breaths. You'll be one step ahead of the rest of the population that doesn't do any yoga at all. Awesome. Let your fingertips hit back to the ground. And on a big inhale, reverse swan dive, bring the arms all the way up. I'm standing. Slight bend back. And then bring your hands down through heart center. And then return your hands to your side. Now warm the shoulders up a little bit more as well. Go ahead and inhale, extend your arms, face your palms forward. And let's just do some small circles to the front. Gradually making them bigger. And then full range of motion. And now let's reverse that. Full range of motion to the rear. Gradually a little smaller. And then smallest. All right, return your hands to your sides. With your hands on your hips and your feet hips width apart. Slight bend in your knees. Let's just rotate those hips. No apprehension here. There's probably no one else in the room with you. I'm the only guy looking like he's doing the hula. So no worries for you. No one's watching. No one's watching you. It's full range of motion. Let's take it the other direction. Excellent. Now bringing your feet together, a little bit of a bend in the knees, hands above your knees, and let's rotate them clockwise. It's really a series of bending and straightening the knees to get them to rotate. And it's taking the other direction. You may need to separate your feet slightly if you've got knobby ankles and knees like me. You don't want any discomfort in doing these initial warm-ups. Great. Return to a standing position. If you have water, certainly take your sip of water now. We're going to go to the top of our mat now and go through a few repetitions of Sun Salutation A. We'll introduce Sun Salutation B in a later practice. But this initial practice is really just intended to teach you some of the basics of yoga, so that it doesn't have to be explained as much in the future practices. So go to the top of our mat. We'll begin in mountain pose. I'll show you that here first before we move. So hips or your feet are together, or again separated a little bit if you have the knobby knee issue like me. Straight through the legs, through the spine. Shoulders are rolled back and down. Hands to your side, palms facing forward. And then gaze straight out in front of you, lifting up through the crown of the head again. Have that rise in the chest. Your hips are squared, they're level to the ground, and one's not out in front of the other. It's a really good, strong posture, grounding through the ground and pushing up all the way through the spine, through the crown of your head. Don't forget to breathe. We're breathing through our nose. And this is where the posture begins. I'll take that to the tops of our mats. And from mountain pose, big inhalation, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step each foot back, left and then right to plank. For this first flow, let's go ahead and put our knees to the ground, to your mat. Untuck the toes. And then gently lower yourself, lower the whole body down. This time we'll take it all the way down, keeping your elbows tight to the sides of your body. On an inhale, we'll lift up into low cobra. So you're just rolling your shoulders back, lifting the upper body up. Gaze goes forward. Exhale, we'll tuck the toes, push the hips back, and up behind us to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. And then step, hop, or float to the front of your mat. I'm not a hopper or a floater. We'll just take a series of small steps to get to the front. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. And back to mountain pose. Reset if you need. We'll do 2 more of these. On your next inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold and step back. Left foot then right. And lower from plank, almost to the ground. Inhale, untuck the toes, resting on the tops of the feet, lifting the shoulders up and back, lifting your chest to upward facing dog, and back to downward facing dog. You can always take to your knees at any time, or just do a low cobra instead of upward facing dog, whatever's best for you. And step, hop, or float to the front of your mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. And back to your mountain pose. Check the microphone. Clip that out. Reset your mountain pose if you need. On an inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold and step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. And lower down through chaturanga, through your flow. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. You should be feeling some of that heat now. And then step, hop or float back to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. And return to mountain pose. All right, now again at the front of your mat, I'll move to the back so you can see better. I like to add some kind of balancing poses to each of our practices so that we're not only being physical and challenging those muscles to build strength, but also balance physically and mentally. Is something we should practice in each session. So grounding through your feet in mountain pose again. And particularly through your right foot. Ground down through that right foot. We're going to lift our left knee to our chest, toward our chest. Wherever you're at is fine. Keeping that left foot flexed is going to help a little bit with your balance. Pick a stable point out in front of you. And now lowering that knee, that foot back behind, grasping it with your left hand, raising your right arm up overhead. This might be the biggest challenge we have today. In flamingo pose, keeping the body upright, feeling that stretch to the front of the leg, feeling that challenge to your balance. Whenever you're feeling challenged, just ground through that right foot a little more. Pick that steady point in front of you. And if you have to catch yourself, go ahead. Find yourself back in the pose. Keep breathing. And let's release all that. Shake that leg out. And return it back. Shake both legs out. A little bit on your right hip during that too, right? Back to mountain pose. Now grounding through that left foot. Let's lift the right knee to the chest, toward the chest. Wherever you're at is fine. Keep driving through the ball of your left foot. See if you can pin the four corners of your foot to the ground, base of the big toe, the base of the pinky toe, and either side of your heel. Now lowering the knee behind you, grabbing it with your right hand, Raising your left hand in the air, keeping the upper body straight. Slight bend in your knee and drive through that left foot. Flamingo pose on the right side. On your left foot. Good. Release that and shake it out. Told you this would be a generally easy practice today, just to get us introduced to yoga. Come now to a staff position. You're going to need a strap in a moment, either an infinity strap or a regular yoga strap. Feet are flexed, legs straight out in front of you, parallel to the sides of the mat. The back is upright. Again, picture that string through the crown of your head, lifting you up. On an inhale, I'm going to raise the arms up. Exhale, bend forward. And wherever you're able to reach is totally fine. We want to keep the legs straight, but not locked out, so just a slight bend in the knees. If you can grab your toes, that's wonderful. If you're not there, you can get some assistance from a strap. Just across the balls of your feet. Not pulling too hard, just gently. Pull yourself a little bit further. On inhale, you can lengthen through the back. Exhale, fold a little further forward. Inhales, extend through the back. Lengthen. Exhale, further forward. Again, with the strap, just wrap your two first fingers around the big toes, wherever you're at. One more breath here. And return back to staff position. If this is your first practice, it's not a bad idea to take a picture of where you're at right now. Maybe you're just here on the shins. Maybe you're barely at the ankles. Maybe you can't even get past the knees. All this is fine. But take a shot of where you're at today, and then take another picture in a month, and a month after that, and just see how far you've progressed. You'll be amazed how quickly, from doing just 20 minutes of yoga a day, how soon you'll be more flexible and able to reach further. And you'll feel that effect through the whole length of your body. Awesome. We're nearing the end of the practice. Let's go ahead and lay back. Bring your left knee to your chest, as far as you can get it. Return that to the ground. Lift your right knee. Return that to the ground. Now let's bring both feet just about 6 inches below your bottom. Palms are flat on the mat. We're going to lift the hips up slightly and move them just about 3 or 4 inches to your left. And then let your knees fall to the right. So this is keeping your spine straight, bisecting the mat lengthwise. Allow your knees to go to the right. Place your right hand on your right thigh, or left knee. And we're just doing a gentle twist all the way through the spine, starting down at the sacrum. And then through the mid-back. Make sure both shoulders are pinned to the mat as the spine turns straight there. And then the last thing to go is your gaze over your left shoulder toward your left fingers at the base of your skull. So it's almost like wringing out a dish rag straight, that dish rag being your spine. And this twist helps release toxins that have built up within your body, that are locked within your spine. It's just generally a really good feeling. At least it is for me. I try to do this every day before I go to bed. As I said earlier, forward folds and this supine twist, spinal twist, it works magic. I feel it does. Hopefully you'll feel the benefits of it too. Keep breathing here. One more deep inhalation, exhalation. And then let's slowly unwind. Everything back center, palms back to the mat. Lift your hips up and return the sacrum to the center of your mat. You can windshield wiper your knees a couple times. Excellent. Now let's lift the hips up and shift to the right 3 or 4 inches. Let's do that same twist the other direction. So lowering your knees to the left. Your left hand comes to your right thigh or your right knee. And starting that twist there at the sacrum. Twisting up through the mid-body, through the mid-spine. Pinning both shoulders to the mat. Cactus your right arm out. Last thing that goes is turning your head and looking out over your right fingertips. One more deep breath here. And let's return to the center. Palms back to the mat. Lift your hips, bring them back to the center. And from here, extend your legs back out. Let's bring both knees now to the chest. Curl your head up and just rock side to side. Roll through the sacrum. Any last release you need from the spine. Just let that out now. Good. And bring your feet out. You can take them out to the corners of your mat. And we're going to go into our final pose now, Shavasana, or corpse pose. You can wave your feet side to side, let them rest in a comfortable resting position. Focus on the breath. Roll your shoulder blades beneath your chest. Lay your arms out to your sides, palms up. Make sure there's nothing touching. Let your thoughts go inward. You can rock your head side to side and let it wobble and settle to center. Eyes are closed. Just you and your thoughts now. If your mind starts to wander, just bring it back. Count your breaths again. That's a really good way to keep your focus inward. Deep inhalations through your nose. Deep exhalations through your nose. It's called corpse pose. This is a very active pose. It's very active for your mind. Letting your body rest now. But your muscles are delivering the messages, the lessons that they learned during our poses to the mind. It's really that transfer and storage of knowledge. And through this deep breathing, meditative state, we see the most benefit to our minds and our bodies at the end of the practice. Now, I hope no one's shut off the video at this point. The end of the video wasn't the physical postures. This is really the most important part here. I will take an abbreviated Shavasana here. And the nice thing of watching this on video is if you want to stay in this state a little longer, you're certainly welcome to do so. You can hit pause on your video and rest here as long as you want. Contemplate what you've been through today, what your focus will be for the rest of the week and weeks and months to come. Think of any questions you may have about the practice. Things you want to leave in the comment section. Let me know how you're feeling. Any questions you have, or any direction you'd like to go in our future practices. All right. Let's start to bring awareness back to the body. You can wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, rotate the ankles and the wrists. Start to bring blood back to the extremities. And feel life coming back to the body through your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hamstrings, up through your pelvis and your torso, your chest, forearms, biceps, triceps, shoulders, through your neck. Rock your head side to side a few times. January 1st, 2021, we've had a reawakening of muscles maybe we've not experienced, we've not witnessed, we've not felt in several years, or at least weeks or months. It's a good way to start the new year. When you're ready, roll to your favorite side, into a fetal position. And take your time, rising back up to an easy seat. Rise back up through the spine, through the crown of your head. Rest your hands easy on your thighs or on your knees. And gently open your eyes. I thank each and every one of you for joining me in Arpeggio Yoga on our new venture. It's our new venture. You've just started in the practice as well. I'm glad we're doing it together. Congratulate yourselves on a job well done. And I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, be well. Namaste.